Hey, so I'm here with Scott Chambers, who is writer, director, uh, secretly producer of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. I just caught that your name changes depending on your role. So let me turn it over to you first to say, have you describe a quick rundown of this twisted childhood take on Peter Pan?
Yeah, so I would describe it as it is basically Wendy's little brother Michael has been abducted by Peter Pan, and Peter Pan intends on sending him to Neverland. And can Wendy find him before he gets sent to Neverland? But it's incredibly gory, character driven, and hopefully it's every parent's worst nightmare.
Okay, I'm a parent, but they're adults now. So, or did they? Did they grow up? We don't know. So,
Yeah.
there's also back and forth between whether this is called the Poohniverse or the Twisted Childhood universe. I don't know which one I like better. But why choose Peter Pan as the next entry in this? Because you've been involved in a lot of them, uh,
Yeah.
and moving forward as well.
Yeah, so it was more about like what excited me. So we actually did shoot Bambi before Peter Pan, but it's in VFX still. So it's basically done, but that's why that's the that Peter Pan's the next releasing. But for me as a director, out of everything that we were kind of working on, it just excited me the most. Like I come from an acting background, so I really like directing actors and I like character driven stories, and this felt like it would fit that quite well. And we've always said that every entry is going to feel different to the last. So if something's not for you, like you don't like Pooh, you might like Pan, or if you don't like Pan, you might like Pinocchio. They're all quite different. So yeah, that's why it felt right for me to do this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize because we know the Disney version, right?
Uh-huh,
That
yeah.
that how much just offhand malevolence is in J.M. Barrie's original work.
Yeah.
And if they just kind of bleep over that. So that's why I got attracted to this from the trailer of going like, oh no, no, this kind of makes sense. So
Yeah.
when you're approaching this, did you do the plot first, or did you go like, I know where I want Peter to be, like the twists, if you will, of the
hmm
darkness. Did you create those first or plot first?
So I was thinking I think it would be plot because I was coming up with like a lot of plots variations first, just to see what might stick to me and to Reese, my co-producer. So I was coming up with some ideas, and there was actually an entirely different script that we did develop, and it's literally on my desktop, and it was written with Matt Leslie, who did Winnie-the-Pooh 2 with us. But when I got to budgeting it, I got really nervous about actually how I'm going to execute it. So I decided not to make that film just because I felt like I couldn't achieve it to the standard that it probably people are expecting and all that kind of stuff. Just on the budget, we're still limited. So I parked that, and I thought this could work as a sequel. If I'm lucky enough to get the budget and the opportunity to do another one. But for this first one, I was looking for good characters that I could make a good story out of. Because yeah, like me and Reese are quite different. Like Reese likes the gore, the action, the violence, and all that. And I like that too, but I really enjoyed telling a character story. So I was trying to find whose point of view I wanted to really follow, and I found Wendy, and I thought it made the most sense to have her follow like her, to try and achieve this objective. She had to get her brother back, and it had to be partly her fault why he had gone missing in the first place, and I had to give her a lot of hurdles to jump over to get there. So yeah.
Hey, and you just mentioned, of course, the gore, and I know that since the first Poohniverse came out, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which was pretty gory, I feel like
hmm
some of these movies are trying to challenge and top each other. Um,
Uh-huh.
so, the question is, do you have moments where you just kind of like, no, this is too far, or it's just like, I can't, this is rough for me.
Oh yeah, I think in Peter Pan there was because obviously children do die in this film, and some of it was like, do I show it? And I won't answer if I did or didn't, but I had to. I was thinking like, if I was in the cinema, how would I want to feel watching this movie? So I think some of that I had to really think about, and just make sure that if I was watching this, would I feel comfortable, and what do I want people to get from it? Still it's entertainment at the end of the day, and I don't want people to kind of just feel completely grossed out and like it shouldn't have been made. So that was a bit of a weird line crossing because yeah, children do die in this film, or they get sent to Neverland. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest obstacle.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. And I'd say that's one of the malevolent parts of the original is
Mm.
they imply, Barry implies that Peter, if they get too old, they die. He just kind
Yeah,
of drops them
exactly.
off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that till I was an adult and read it and went, "Oh my God!" So
Hmm.
you, as I said up top, you're an actor, writer, director, producer. As Scott Jeffrey, I think is your producer name. But
Yeah.
so does Scott Jeffrey ever get in fights with the other Scots? Because you mentioned like budget and so forth. Do you have to have a conversation with yourself, sit yourself down and say, you can't do that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you have to be realistic. Like sometimes I think on Winnie 2, we got excited. Like we were told we had £300,000, which to us was a lot of money. Obviously, it isn't at all. And especially when you start adding days on it, it doesn't feel much different to the low budgets we were working on. Like 20 to 50,000 pounds is what a lot of my career has been up until now. And when you just start adding days on, the cost per day, it actually ends up being pretty similar to those films. And with Pooh too, I think we just got a bit excited. Like for stuff like the rave scene, it was, it's one of the cool scenes in it, but we do still wish that we could have done more with the gore and stuff. But again, it's just time, it's the money, not having enough people to be able to do the SFX, all that kind of stuff. So sometimes I have to stop myself, and I definitely did that before I made Peter Pan, and I think I made the right call when making this script instead of the other one, because I probably would have put everyone on that set through hell and back to make that other script. It isn't achievable. And yeah, I think I've executed this one probably to the best that I probably could have, with all the circumstances, the budget, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And since the business model is kind of taken with public domain characters, which are you just waiting to go public domain so you can take a crack? Who's
Oh,
coming?
I really want Batman. I really want him, but he's in the distance. I really, really want Batman. Someone like Batman, Superman, one of those. I think there's just so much fun to be had with those. Or maybe like I haven't Googled him yet, but maybe like Tarzan. I think Tarzan could be quite fun. Like one of those, I just have good vibes about. I'm like, there's just so much range and so much you could flip on its head, and
The
not just in a generic slasher. You could do more.
Yeah.
So.
The Edgar Rice Burroughs people will not like me saying this, but Tarzan is public domain. I'm sorry. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Just not the trademark. You can't call him that. So,
Imagine him like swinging from the vines. That'd be quite cool. Like swinging from the vines with like a, I don't know, like a, or no, maybe like the vines just what like yank people up by their necks and stuff. It'd be quite fun.
I
So,
think he actually does that in the novel and
oh, does
several times.
he?
Yes. So
There
yeah.
we go.
Anyway, so Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare opens in the U.S. in January 13th, 14th, and 15th. Tickets should be available now. Thank you so much for this time, Scott, because I'm really looking forward to this
Oh,
film, and
oh,
I love the idea.
thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to creepily caress the subscribe button to be sure you don't miss out on any ghoulish gifts from the fanboy planet Crypt. And who knows? I may one day find my way back out of the catacombs and into dim light again.